Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
G'day everyone, I am the man called Chemo Sabi, the man with the plan from the land down under, and I'm here to talk to you about the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue adds the action of Suicide Squad to the intrigue of Homeland and Body of Lies. It's strike back with superpowers. In a world where being superhuman is illegal, they are America's dirty little secret. A CIA-funded prevention and response unit on paper, but in reality, a superhuman hit squad protecting the nation's interests in the Middle East. When they receive information that a terrorist attack is imminent, one that will affect even the United States, they follow every lead in a desperate race against the clock to stop it. At every turn, they are betrayed and attacked by enemy and ally alike, until a final showdown tests their loyalty to their country, their job, and each other. This 60-page full-color book is packed with action and intrigue. It's the first issue in a 3-issue story totaling 180 pages, and the language, violence, and concepts are aimed at an adult audience, with a story that is layered and involved. This story, titled Dead, White and Blue, is the first arc out of 4 stories that tell the complete Company Men saga. All the pencils and inks are completed, and about half the colours and letters are done as well. The remaining colours, letters, and the setup of the digital file is budgeted for separate to this Indiegogo campaign. No matter what happens, this book is being published. Fulfillment is being handled independently by RJ from Critical Blast Logistics. Now, you guys know RJ, he's a stand-up guy with experience in this field, and he's worked hard to minimise international postage, letting us pass those savings on to you. We also have a Clayton Barton exclusive variant cover. This image graces the deluxe edition of the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, an oversized stuffed to the gills edition filled with concept art, pin-ups, script pages, costume designs, page breakdowns, behind-the-scenes info, and sneak peeks at upcoming Company Men projects. The campaign goes live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday the 19th on Indiegogo. I want to stress again, the success of this book, its ability to be completed, does not rest on this campaign. This campaign is to raise funds for the publishing and distribution of the comic. As we speak, Kelso Mazzina is already hard at work on the first pages of issue 2. You can back this campaign with confidence. And if you think this Aussie accent makes me sound dodgy and you aren't sure if you want to sink some of your hard-earned money into the Company Men, we also have a more inexpensive digital version available in the campaign. But I'm confident once you see how good this book looks, you won't rest until you have a physical copy in your hands. Thanks for having a look at this campaign, thanks for your consideration and support, and I hope you enjoy reading The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue as much as I did writing it.
So why did I show that? Well, if you watch the middle of it, then you can probably figure that one out. The Company Men is the first project that we will be working with in our Critical Blast Logistics arm, and we cannot wait to start shipping that one out. Right now, they are at 74 backers, and I am thinking, double, triple, quadruple that. Make me work. Put me to work at getting these packages together to show what we can do with overseas shipments and getting that cost down. Hoping that 75 backers. Somebody just backed it while I was refreshing the screen. That's awesome. And hopefully Kemosabe shows up in the screen tonight. If he is, he's welcome to join in. This is an open mic night. This is where, if you have a campaign and you haven't reached out to us already and just, set up a regular night, pop in, even if you just got a mailing list right now on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, or if there's some new crowdfunding site out there I'm not aware of, introduce that as well. So it's been, obviously I'm heavily invested in the success of the Company Men. And it is 84%, and I'm just going to pop it back up here now that I got the video out of the way. It is 84% funded with 75 backers, and it's only been a day and a half. It says 2 days, but it's been a day and a half. So what y'all really need is a link, and I'm going to provide that now. Let me throw that into the chat here. There we go. So yes, feel comfortable that you can buy this book from Australia at a decent price. And when you get to the shipping, it's not going to make you scream that, the shipping is 3 times more than the actual book itself, or even as much as the actual book itself. That's still a crime in and of itself. If you're buying a $10 book and it costs $10 more to ship, who wants that? So jump in anytime, folks. I know there's people out there watching. I know there's people wanting to come in here. Probably should put the word out to Tonic Mole. I think he wanted to pop in here. He's got a new hook that he's wanting to push. Make sure that he's aware. Make sure everybody's aware. It's been a messy week, hasn't it? As particularly today. I don't want to delve too much into it because I think it's been kind of beaten to death on Twitter today already. But there's kind of like a Me Too situation going on with a creator and a person who didn't work on the book, but could have worked on the book, but was not going through it. It's a messy situation. All I know is it's very creepy. Whether or not things got super inappropriate, we don't know. What we do know is that the usual gang of idiots come around to white knight something. And it's, I made the comparison that if you ever wonder how Eric Esquivel continued as long as he did with the silence of his knowing companions, this was an example of that. And the decision was come to that I had compared this creator to a rapist. I had no more compared this creator to a rapist than Gina Carano compared Republicans to Nazis when she made her infamous little showing up there. She was comparing the crowd and the reaction of, or not the reaction, but the actions of that crowd toward people. That's what I was doing. I was comparing the people who defended the Weinsteins and the Esquivels or were silent about them to the people who were defending this particular creator. So let that be said very clearly. I am not accusing anyone of anything. Due process has its place, but the lady did bring receipts, so it's going to be interesting. It's not a YouTube problem, Baptu. It's a Comicsgate crowdfunding comics. I don't even know whether it's in Comicsgate or out of Comicsgate because it's people who were in and out and in and out. So I'd rather talk about actually producing comics and publishing comics and distributing comics, which is where Critical Blast comes in. We put together a pretty good business plan, I think, and I've shown it to as many different people outside the country as possible and inside the country, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And I know I'm marketing this mostly to the CG UK and the CG Australia and Canada groups because it is designed really to cut the cost of overseas shipping for them to get it into the US, where the greater amount of comic book purchases are made. But that doesn't mean that, if you publish your comic in the US that you may not want to use our distribution service. It would be more expensive monetarily to use us than to do it yourself because we do charge, we charge a fee per unit. That's how we make money. But at the same time, if your time is better spent producing comics than, stuffing envelopes and Gemini mailers, then by all means talk to us and we will give you the quote you want to see for how we can get your, shipping priced. If you want to ship from within the U.S. to within the U.S. The only thing we don't handle right now is from the U.S. to out of the U.S. We can't help anything there with the shipping costs. We don't make it go down. That's something where someone in other countries needs to copy our model and reproduce it. It's not a trade secret. We'd be happy to show you how to do it and get in there and do it yourself. I'm just kind of throwing out the link here because I want to make sure that everyone can just pop in and grab it. We don't stay on too long with these open mics because, they're open mics. And every time I decide to throw one, Frogman throws up a stream. So it's like I know where everybody went. Just do a little bit more searching here. course, if I should actually pay attention to the chat stream as I'm doing this. Go. I did actually get to read a comic book today with everything else that was going on. I went to Walmart, and they actually had in the second issue of, I can take this down for a little while now, can't I? The second issue of Red Rooster. So I got to read the second chapter of the chicken book. And it's still pretty cool. I don't know if he's got the Rooster Cave or the Rooster Barn or whatever it's called, but he's got something similar there where he's got, the Rooster Mobile, and Strong Boy, his sidekick. Yeah, that's his name, Strong Boy, and you can call it exactly what it is. Says they didn't need all that stuff to fight crime before. It was just them in their bare hands. It's an interesting book because it's set in sort of the golden age of heroes, I guess. When radio was king and there was no television, newsreels were how you got your news. So you had to pay to go to the theater and watch those little films. But it's very cool. It's got some very creepy villains because you don't see a whole lot of superheroics from the superheroes. They all seem to be just, fists and fury and bare hands and stuff. But the villains, the main villain is a body comprised of insects that presents itself as a human. That's pretty creepy, and we're not quite sure what his motivations are yet and why he hates the Red Rooster and the Order of the Dawn. But episode 3 is due in September, according to Solicit. So that's March, April, May, June, July. That's only 7 months away. That's wow. That's quite a reach. That can't be right. That can't. I could not have possibly read that right. Maybe it's last September. Did I just get this book this late to see it? Okay, so here it is. Stay tuned. The next thrilling episode arrives in September. This is February. That is not a publishing schedule of any kind. So, all right. Well, I got the word out on the Critical Blast logistics, and we're going to continue getting that out because ideally, we are going to have more people sign up. I've already had them talk to me. We haven't gotten into their specifics, but one of the things I do is I do sit down with anybody who's getting ready to launch a campaign. We go over every single tier that's going to be launched, and it's people want to talk about their story and about their art. I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about numbers, and I'm talking physical numbers like how long is it, how wide is it, how much does it weigh, and how many of those are you going to put in a box? So it gets to number crunching. Share everything very transparently. Even our fees are included in there. And we've talked with a bunch of people who are, a number of people. I'm not going to say a bunch. That might imply a larger crowd. Some people about them bringing their thing over here. Cannot wait to do that. The ideal idea is that we're going to have more than one at a time over ship. When that happens, two things can go on. First of all, it's good for the crowdfunder because if they go in demand and they get more orders afterwards, the books are already here, so they don't have to make another shipment over to us for us to distribute. But secondly, when we have a panoply of different stories here, that's when we reach out to your local comic shop and we tell them, hey, we have on inventory these small print run, hard to get import comic books that you can buy directly from us. And you don't have to do it the crowdfunding way where you say, hey, I've got to pay $10 shipping for this one and $10 shipping for that one. Even with the reduced shipping that they would get now through us if they went through the crowdfunding way. No, now they can say, give me 2 of this book, 1 of that book, 3 of that book, and we will put it in one box, one shipping cost. Of course, all the money for the books goes back to the people who crowdfunded. I'm not saying we're selling them out for our own profit. We make the money on the shipping. We have a shipping charge that goes in with that. So that's our deal. That's our jam. We be boxes and stuff. So that is the ultimate end goal, to get crowdfunded comics on local comic shop shelves. And I'm sure that, as much noise is made about, hey, we're, selling comics directly to the consumer, that's great and everything. But who doesn't have the dream of seeing their book on a comic store shelf? Jason from Sci-Fi from ETV, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, RJ, how's it going?
It's going weird, man. You're
not completely unpacked yet. What's up?
Well, you know what? I just finally landed myself a place in Bentonville, and it's not even in Bentonville. It's like it's on the map, and it's like I was looking for like a range of 30 miles outside of town to find an apartment or a room or whatever. And this place is 35 miles outside of town, an hour and 5-minute drive. I'm like, that can't be right. That's got to be, Google Maps saying, yeah, because there's snow on the ground and it's Arkansas and they can't plow it.
It's twisty turn roads in Arkansas.
It's exactly what it is. It's out in the mountains there of a place called Holiday Island. So it's 30. I lost him. He's got a thing against Holiday Island. He left, and what do you know? Yeah. Well, what do you got against Holiday Island, man?
I hit a button, and I it's just one of those things,
You sent me a link here. What should I do with this, Jason?
I did. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Mrs. Boss and I are watching Batman the Animated Series, but I saw you were doing open mic, so I wanted to pop in and give you that link in case you wanted to share it. That is our latest edition of the Rancor Pit, which is our Star Wars discussion program. And we had this last Thursday. Cameron Pasha, Tom from Midnight's Edge, and Judah Engelmeyer, who was the PR crisis communications expert that was quoted in the Hollywood Reporter with regard to the Gina Carano situation. So they're all in that show, and we were talking about what's been going on with Gina.
I heard that she wasn't able to say that much.
Do what?
I heard she wasn't able to say that much because every question was like, well, I signed an NDA.
No. She did a full hour with Ben Shapiro. It dropped today on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the one they were talking about, where she kept saying that she couldn't talk about certain things.
There were certain parts of the discussion where she kind of held back. Mainly, the impression that I got was that she's protecting confidences more than any kind of an NDA. I know there's speculation on some of that in terms of what she's legally obligated to keep to herself, but I never heard her mention an NDA in any of that. Okay. There may have been something that came out of the Q&A that was the members only part after the interview, but in that 1 hour that dropped today on Daily Wire's YouTube, I didn't hear anything about an NDA mentioned.
Well, I must have been misinformed. I was listening to your boy Zach talk about it a couple hours ago.
Well, I haven't looked at his video yet. It's possible that there may be an NDA involved in some of this, but as far as I know, she hasn't mentioned it. But as many people as are talking about it over the weekend, some of it could just be speculating about what she can and can't do at this point in terms of her obligations to Lucasfilm. So we'll see how it plays out. It's an ever-evolving story, and I'm sure we'll be looking at it again either this week or next, just depending on how things shake out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, she hasn't I've got the Disney Magic Kingdoms tap game as one of the many things on my phone here, and one of the characters they brought in for Star Wars is Cara Dune. They haven't erased her from the game yet.
Yeah,
she still looks like Gina Carano, unlike the Hasbro toys that they've erased from history.
Well, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, that was a Lucasfilm directive. That was not Hasbro making that decision as we initially thought, because as it rolled out, when we heard that UTA had dropped her as a client in terms of talent agency, and then we heard about Hasbro dropping the line of figures. Well, that I don't remember if it was the Hollywood Reporter article, if it was the Barry Weiss article that said, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter article that confirmed that Hasbro had been told by Lucasfilm to pull the stuff. So I would imagine that's more of a licensing thing than anything else. But
because I'm sure she would have got a paycheck for each one that sold, since it's her.
I'm sure she would. Yeah, that would be my guess. So it continues to be a thing that we're monitoring, and we see what works out. And I'm sure there's a number of different YouTubers out there who are keeping an eye on this as well. I know Drunk 3PO and Ichibaka and the guys over at Geeks and Gamers, the Fandom Menace, Nerdrotic. I mean, everybody's watching this to see how it plays out. But the fact that she's in that interview saying that somebody had to speak up and hinting that there are other people who could tell stories, it feels almost like she's kind of standing up and saying, okay, Braveheart time, who's with me? Yeah. It really does feel like not a call to arms yet, but it's a rallying cry at some point, right there in the midst of all of this. So
I've got to reach out to Drunk 3PO too, because he apparently has a line into her at some level. Because they've had some back and forth texts and messages. Of course, he's interviewed her and those videos and his connection to her through that has been brought up in a number of different articles about all of her social media posts before all of this, blew up. So you were seeing parts of that interview were being quoted in places like Forbes and Fox News and Yahoo News and all these other places. And when they dropped the news that she'd been fired Wednesday night, he was in the middle of that charity stream, and one of his posts, I think it was a Twitter post, one of them was included in the news of her firing. So it almost felt like a shot across the bow against him and the other YouTubers as well. It basically says, not only are we coming for Gina, but we're also going to come for you too. And they ended up raising, fortunately, it didn't really derail them too much. They ended up raising, I think, $44,000 over a course of a day for Operation Underground Railroad, which is a group to fight off child trafficking. So it's a good cause for them. I'm glad they were able to raise that, because his goal was 5,000, and he got 43. So yeah. Well, I've got this goblet with Gina's name on it that I've got to get to her somehow. And normally I would have just sent it to Lucasfilm, because we've sent them stuff in the past before, but I don't think they wanted this one.
It's my reward. Send it to me.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, and she does still have, if you look at, she does still have a publicity contact listed on IMDb Pro. So UTA dropped her, but this other group is there, so that might be a possibility as well.
Send it to Ben Shapiro; he'll get it to her.
Yeah, there you go. That's another possibility. Yeah, I mean, as much as they're going to be working together, it'll probably get her way.
I should do that
at some point.
I should send it to Ben Shapiro and see if he doesn't give it to her on a stream.
Fuck yeah, brother, man. This is what you do, man. You got to use this to your advantage. You know what I mean?
Damn right. Wow. That's my brain just exploded in my head.
You mean I just gave you an idea that exploded your brain in your head? You're welcome.
That's right. I've been incepted. Well, we have put the link out for the Ranker Pit. And everybody, if you like serious, deep, and knowledgeable discussion about your sci-fi, something that goes beyond the whole, Luke would definitely kick Darth Maul's ass if they ever met up. then Sci-Fi for Me TV is the place you want to get to and learn all the ins and outs and the behind the scenes and stuff. What episode of animated Batman the Animated Series are you guys watching right now?
We just finished. We just finished the 2-part Feet of Clay.
Oh, let's go.
So we just started first season. So
yeah, first season, first episode on Leather Wings. I remember that.
That was the first one that aired, but turns out it wasn't the first ones that were produced. So it was funny because I was looking in the notes, and the 2-part with Catwoman apparently was the first set that they made. So
she was the only reason why I watched that show.
So,
what's that?
Catwoman. I said Catwoman's the only reason why I watched that show.
Well, of course. It's the only reason why I watched
Selena Kyle, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had forgotten they made her a blonde in that show.
Well, I mean, she was also blonde in the movie, right? In the 1990 Batman, it was Michelle Pfeiffer. And
that's why they did it in the cartoon, is to tie it and make her look like Pfeiffer's version of it. So
absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, I just wanted to drop that in and let people know about that. We are currently sitting at 1,592 subscribers. It'd be nice to get to 1,600 sometime soon. But
you guys have passed me up. I'm at 1,300. So.
Well, it's slow, but we get them one at a time, and we lose them one at a time, and we get them back. I don't know if YouTube is messing with my count or what, but
they're just sliding off. I've hit the 3,100 hours of watch time too, but if I skip a day, I see it knocked down a couple hours. I'm like, okay, stuff's falling off that 12-month ledge. I
need them short videos that have lots of replayability. You see, the thing with live streams is they're good on the fly. But hardly anyone ever comes back and watches a 3-hour live stream. You know what I mean? They might check it out for 5 minutes and click off, but you need those 8 to 12-minute videos,
Yeah, I do some. I would do some review videos.
That's a good call. It's a good call because that's what we do as reviews, and I just print most of them. I should, even if I just read them out loud and verbatim.
Or you do the review video and then just transcribe it, and there's your article.
Yeah. Yeah, or just embed the video in the article.
Well, you can do that. We've looked at a couple of different things, and I think there's some value to a transcription on some of the stuff, and we may start doing some of that on some of our shorter interview clips. But it's really kind of a challenge to get any kind of a transcript put together for the 1-hour shows because there's so much, and there's only 6 of us now, so.
I hate transcribing. Most of my interviews used to be done on a digital voice recorder. And I found out that a 20-minute to 30-minute interview was 3 hours of transcribing.
We have a tool. We've got a plugin, an OBS plugin that's supposed to do transcriptions. And for whatever reason, it stopped working. And I need to figure out how to get it plugged back in, because it's supposed to just hear everything on the microphone channels and do a transcription. But the last few shows we've done, it hasn't picked it up yet. So I might have to reset something.
I might have to look into something like that. That'd be fun to have.
Yeah, it's a useful tool when it works.
So I can imagine.
Oh, Robert.
So Robert's got a pet peeve for reviewing comics. If you're going to review a comic, 1, don't just say it's bad or it's good. 2, if you say anything about the comic, there's more to come. Show what you're claiming. So if you say he talks like a silly teenager, got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Give the examples of why it sucks.
And I'm working on a review right now of the three volumes of These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman.
Oh.
This is the second 3-book set. His first set covered the original series, season 1, 2, and 3. Now this one goes into the time right after that, when the convention started, when the animation got going, and then volume 2 of this set covers some of his other work outside of Star Trek. Questra tapes are in here. All of the different Genesis 2 Dylan Hunt type stories, and then 1 volume on Phase 2, and then the 3rd volume covers the first motion picture. So it's a good set. So, but of course, it's 3 books, so it's a fairly long review, and we're gonna have him on. We're gonna have him on the show Wednesday.
Very cool. Nice get.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm trying to look ahead. We've had some interesting guests on here, but by all means, go watch Batman, man. I won't keep you here. Heck, I've actually got. We were sent it for review when it came out. The entire Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray, but unlike most of the sets, this was the one where they sent me like a box with discs and sleeves. So I have nothing to keep the discs in except for rubber. And I'm like, this kind of sucks. But
yeah, we got drama to talk about.
Drama. Have we got a dead horse we're going to beat some more?
Well, I don't know what you've already said, but I'm going to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Which one?
The Nerd Wonder situation.
That one I don't know anything about, so that'll be my point where I can bounce and y'all can talk about that, and I'm gonna go watch Batman.
All right,
there you go, brother.
Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it.
All right, see you guys.
Take care.
Sci-fi for me TV, not for you, but for me.
For everybody. Yes. The me is you. Okay. Bye.
All right, man. Lay it on me, brother. What's your take?
What's my take on
you came out with some strong words. You're like saying she's utilizing cancel culture. It's almost got a war campaign vibe to it. I need to hear it from the horse's mouth, then I'll do course correction.
You want my take on it?
Yeah, I want to hear what your opinion is, and then I'm going to give you mine, and I'm going to try and sway it and change your opinion.
Okay, my opinion is this. She came with receipts. Something creepy was done.
And receipts, motherfucker.
Go on.
Then my opinion was basically this morning about the expected crew of white knights that came out to defend the guy who had apparently done the creepy thing. And I was like,
so I thought you were doing something opposite. See, I thought you were defending Liam and calling Nerd Wonder, like
no, I don't know what you.
I was all ready to come on here and grill the shit out of you, RJ, but now you're telling me a different story. So
I don't know what you saw me tweet that came out anything at all like a defense of Liam.
You got to watch out for Vickyverse, because she seems to think that you're talking like on the same lines of war campaign. She made it sound like that you were defending Liam and going after Nerd Wonder.
Oh, heavens no! In fact,
so you want to look at her post and then maybe course correct her, because she's going to go live tonight about all this stuff. Huh?
I saw her retweet me earlier, and she said, "And here comes war campaign to prove RJ's point." My point being that gosh, I bet all of Harvey Weinstein's friends had this exact same conversation whenever he got Me Too'd.
See, the war campaign has a beef against Nerd Wonder. It's an ongoing feud that's been going on for a long time. So they're coming into this already with a bias and a predetermined outcome against her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I saw that that they were going for the whole ad hominem attack and calling her ugly. I was like, if you're immediately going after a person's looks, you just admitted you have no argument whatsoever.
RJ did nothing of the kind, but that's not what the way Vicky had implied it. And I told Vicky, I said, I'll go on his show and I'll set it straight.
Let me go see what Vicky's saying, because she retweeted me and she's like,
yeah, but she's saying you're agreeing with war campaign. War campaign is against Nerd Wonder. So if you're agreeing with war campaign, that means you are against Nerd Wonder. You understand the philosophy?
Okay, I'm gonna open this tweet up and I'm gonna share the page. I'm gonna just drop it over here. And I see you responding to her, so I think there's just a
But if I'm misunderstanding it, so is everyone else.
I think that what we've got.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah. So here I was. I said, this is almost the exact conversation Harvey Weinstein had with all his friends when his actions were brought to light. WC is still the cancer in Comicsgate. That was my statement.
No, but that's not the point. The point is that top line. It says, and what's left of war campaign shows up to help Critical Blast make his point, which implies that your point is in league with war campaign.
No, my point was that war campaign is still the cancer in Comicsgate.
Yeah, but that's not how this is being taken, right?
Well, I thought it was.
When Vicky said that you are trying to make war campaigns point for them, that assumes that you agree with war campaign. Like, I don't understand how hard that is to understand.
No, I'm not making their point. They made mine. I said, "Hey, y'all a bunch of creeps," and they showed up and were creepy.
No, I'm with you. I'm on Nerd Wonder's side, right? So miscommunication, cool. I mean, all that could have been worded better.
Yep. Vicky, come on. You were watching it just an hour ago. Come on in the show. Everybody's welcome to come in and talk. But yeah, it was. I'm on Nerd Wonder's side
when
too.
you work for someone, you don't tell them that you're going to fuck their brains out after they have repeatedly told you that they just want to be your friend. Now, you see, the thing with the whole Me Too thing is, especially when it came down to, say, like the Vic Mignonia case, right? When I got canceled from cons, I said, I want to see evidence. No one was able to show me a lick of evidence. But then I talked to Nerd Wonder. Not only did I see what she put out publicly, I also seen what she sent to me privately. I'm going to be interviewing Nerd Wonder one-on-one here very soon, and we're going to go through the entire thing.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad. I've reached out to others who had intimated in the past that they had gotten weird information or weird DMs, and they were like, yeah, they were weird DMs, but they weren't those kind of DMs. So I'm like, good. I'm glad you guys were.
You're saying Vicky's being sarcastic, but you can't tell that through a text message. No, you can only tell sarcasm through tone of voice, my friends.
And you know what's funny is that Vicky and I used to be at odds on certain things just about a year ago. It was like I would sometimes get into Twitter arguments with her at the same level I would get into Twitter arguments with Renfamous.
The blue hair goddess.
But totally different level, different kind, because she was making different points. Renfamous was just like, it's all Armageddon, kill it with fire, and she'd make points about Ethan specifically.
Yes, I am Rebel Comics. I have many names. I go by Drifter, MBK Drifter, Rebel Comics, Rebel Gaming, Niobe Comics, Hot Shot, Hot Rod, LJ, LP, the Savior of Salvation, the Bringer of Destruction, the 5-time Pimpa Simp, the Force of the North, too cute to refute the man of 1,001 nicknames. Coming at you, LIVE Live.
I got to get more names. I've already got more than I can keep track of.
I'm adding to the list always.
Well, anyway, yeah, it's my take was that creepy stuff was done, and it was. Here's a theory I came across today, and this is totally tangential to the to the Me Too stuff, which, by the way, is Me Too because Nerd Wonder was supposed to be doing work for him, and then didn't do work for him. And what came in the middle was this whole "I'd love to fuck your brains out" kind of thing, which she said no to. But do you remember about I don't know if it was a month ago or 2 months ago?
I asked this question. Am I LP from Love Comic Books auctions on Saturday nights? No, LP. My first name is Larry. My middle name is Patrick. That's why I'm called LP. Or sometimes I'm called LJ for Larry Jr. because I'm a junior. No, I don't think I am the only one that read it wrong. When you start talking about white knights, how many people white knight for men? Come on, man.
Nobody.
No one. So when you talk about white knights, obviously I'm assuming that people that are bitching about people white knighting for Nerd Wonder. Okay. It's that those tweets are very easily misconstrued, or could be misconstrued.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened. But yeah, I think she tried to come in and made Marion for me. So that was, that was very nice of her. That's the way I took it. I took it to be very nice.
I took it as an attack on you, brother, man. And
and I appreciate you coming to my defense and trying to set me straight. I think it was just, it's Twitter being Twitter. We always don't know what we mean when we read somebody else's tweets and try to get involved. But what I was trying to get to earlier, do you remember about 2 months ago when the Xenotype campaign put out this fire sale of sorts?
You mean Xenorape?
I didn't say the
romance.
Yeah.
Hashtag let it happen. Hashtag don't touch me there.
Hashtag can I touch you behind the ear and kiss you passionately?
Oh my God, that was cringe, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah. But do you remember he put them on like fire sale, and everyone was like, "Ooh, if I was an early backer, I would be pissed now if people were coming in late and getting it for half price."
Well, I mean, the list of things that this guy has done to try and make it, and failed is longer than my list of nicknames. You know.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why, and this is completely conjecture, but here's why I think he did that. Because I think when he did that, that was the day he saw the print files.
Yeah, he knew it was fucked up.
And he knew he wouldn't be able to sell them on eBay. Because as soon as word got out, he had to get rid of all of them then before anybody found out that they were fucked up.
Hashtag phenotype. Look, man, you know, I'm going to interview her. I'm going to get all of it straight from the horse's mouth. She sent me private DMs that she hasn't yet revealed on Twitter. So I actually got a bigger piece of the story. I told her, I said, I'm not going to show your private DMs until you are on stream with me and we can go through them together.
Yeah, and it was obvious that she had more DMs when she showed, the whole proof that they weren't doctored thing.
Because the thing was, I wanted to know what was said before the whole role play tweet, right? Remember?
Yes.
Like you just went over, I'm going to touch you behind your ear and all that stuff. I said, well, what is the context of that? What was said like a few tweets beforehand? And she sent them to me. So when I get her on the show, she was going to try and come on last night. She wasn't able to do it. She wanted to come on tonight. I already have guests, right? But the first opportunity I get to have her on the show, we're going to do it.
Do it, man. I've never heard her on a stream before, so I've only seen her tweets.
Well, she's a nice girl. I mean, I don't have much interaction with her. Every now and then she'll pop a hello. She did a little stream on Niobe. She drew a Niobe chibi and all that sort of stuff. It was very, cute and fun. But the thing with Nerd Wonder versus a lot of these other sort of Me Too allegations is that Nerd Wonder actually has in row. I want to hear it again.
Transcripts and receipts, motherfucker.
She's got the evidence. She's got it right from the horse's mouth, bro.
Yeah, she does. So the game now has become, oh my God, are you going to equate flirtatious texts with actual physical rape?
It's not rape, but it's it's a. As a woman, I'm sure that sort of shit gets annoying after the 100th time it fucking happens, Yeah,
but you have to
get the ultimate extreme. Fucking inbox all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to compare it to the ultimate extreme in order to discredit it.
I can discredit it without calling it rape. I could just call him being a fucking douchebag. You don't need to make it worse than what it is. But at the same time, she made it public. She put it out there. She made it everyone's business. So, of course, when you make a public statement like that, everyone's going to weigh in. Pro, con, whatever, right? And the thing with Liam, and this is what, and I shouldn't even have to say this, people should just know this, that your private DMs are never private. If I'm going to DM something to RJ, I need to have in the back of my mind, and not that you would do this, but, you just never know, right? Who would do this? That if we had a falling out, that maybe you're going to take something I said in there out of context and throw it up on the web 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, 2 years later, whenever it may be, you know what I mean? To try and discredit someone. Never, ever, ever DM someone. I don't care if it's your fucking mom, okay? Never DM someone without the expectation that one day that tweet or that DM may become public domain at some point.
Yeah, and either party could do it.
That's right. Either party can do it, man.
Well,
lessons to be learned, folks. Don't tell girls you want to fuck their brains out in a private DM and not expect that girl to one day use that against you.
And don't think that people can't take quick screenshots of any of that chat stuff that erases itself 5 minutes after you send it, because that shit's worthless. All they got to do is just click screenshot and it's still saved.
That's it, man. That's it. Stu here. Yes. Says if WC didn't stand for Liam for the past 5 months, they would be all over this, just like they did with Preston. They might be. I mean, the thing with War Campaign is they run on Sunday nights. They're probably on right now. I usually catch them on the replay because I like to see what they're saying. I like to keep my ear to the ground, but who knows what they're saying. It'll be an interesting show to sort of watch when I go to work on Tuesday night, because that's usually when I catch up on that.
Catch your replay. Yeah, I've been in Twitter back and forth with several of them all day long. So.
Wait, are you battling them?
I wouldn't say battling them. I mean, battling War Campaign is like, getting into
it's like fucking arguing with a toddler.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like trying to have an insult war with a third grader, but
but yeah, I mean, Liam with the whole fucking half price books, the backwards fucking manga.
It's not even backwards. That's the bad thing. I mean,
Well, it's a backwards for manga. Like it's like, page 1, then page 3, then you get page 2.
It's backwards and inverted. So it's not even like, I have to read the panels backwards on each page. The pages you're going to get a crick in your neck reading this thing in a Western style holding. And
it gives me a headache just trying to think about it,
Yeah. Now, if
you're gonna do that, why not just make it a regular fucking comic? You know what I mean? Like have your manga version, right, and then have your fucking American version of it.
And I guarantee you, the way that it's printed, I shouldn't say guarantee you because I have no.
I understand why they couldn't do that because with manga, it doesn't go left from right; it goes from right to left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but apparently the first page is acknowledgments. So page 1 is actually on the left side once you finally open the book. So you go 2, 1, 4, 3. You know what you can't do if you've written a book that way and get it right? A 2-page spread. I bet you anything that he's got to have a 2-page spread in there that's going to be on opposite sides of the same sheet of paper.
Well, I know he certainly wanted to spread something,
Yeah, he was wanting some wonder.
Look, I mean, the thing with Comicsgate is there's always a scandal. Fucking always, man. Whether it's this, whether it was Preston, with the pegging, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the scandal is, there's always it's like what is the weekly scandal, now, right? It's like, I watch Comicsgate programming not because I'm in Comicsgate, it's because it's my favorite fucking soap opera on television. Like it's like Game of Thrones for fucking comic books, you know what I mean?
It is. For comic book nerds, this is like Game of Thrones. Yeah,
it's like factions, alliances, scandals, deceit, sex lies, and videotape. Like
who's going to betray who this week, and who's going to?
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in comic books my entire life. Like it really is.
It is. It's funny to watch.
It's become less about the comic books and more about the drama. And it's been like that for quite a while. Yeah. And when you look at Comicsgate's books. The whole reason why the movement started was to put it to the big two, right? We want better comics. And then it became, well, if you're not going to change, we're going to make better comics, right? There are very few Comicsgate books out there that are actually good. Most of them don't come out. And when they do come out, they're 2 years late. And some of them are very subpar quality. Some of them get sent as like fucking magazines that are folded up, hey, AKA fucking stealing Solo. Where is the saving the comic book industry? Because I haven't fucking seen it yet.
Well, what book is not going to get shipped out that way?
What book is that, brother?
The Company Men.
Yeah, man.
The Company Men is a CG book coming from Australia. And it is not going to be shipped like that because we're shipping it. 75 backers already. So a day and a half. Hey, look, we got a weather report with George.
Today is really cold out. I'm a blue Muppet.
He removed himself from the stream as soon as I put him in there.
Well, he wasn't ready, you see. You need a bad dad joke to be George,
I was trying to get all my wires ready. I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot right away.
Oh, well.
RJ don't fuck around. He's not like Testify. He ain't going to keep you in the back for 25 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Yeah. Just send me a comment in the back, George. When you're ready, we'll put you back in. Oh, man. But you know what? I've met so many cool people in this. Despite all the crap and the egos and quite frankly harassment that I've seen from other people, 95% of the folks I've met through this, they get along just fine, and they're working together to help each other and putting things together. And I'm going to have myself quite a collection of 3D printed action figures in the future. I'm hoping, right, George?
Absolutely. Did you get all my anonymous harassment letters?
Yeah.
Were you telling RJ you want to fuck his brains out?
Well, it's one of the many notes that I sent him.
Yeah, as long as we still be friends, George. That's But yeah, it's the thing that, as an example, George is a connection here that I've made at Comicsgate. And now when I do all these interviews with people and they're like, hey, I want to do more stretch goals, I don't know what else to do. I'm like, well, have you thought about 3D action figures? And they're like, oh, that'd be great, but I don't know. And I'm like, right after the show, George, here's so-and-so. And it's not even Comicsgate. I mean, we talked with, independent publishers who are in comic stores that were doing some crowdfunded issues, and they hadn't even thought of it.
Yes, absolutely. I am grateful for your, thankfulness to connect me. It's very it's fun. The people that you connect me with, are totally stunned, absolutely stunned.
I'm stunned, George.
As all of them ask, I know you are. You're a stunning guy.
I'm fucking cute, brother.
Exactly.
He is
I whack out a chubby every time I see you.
Whoa. Hashtag Liam too.
Yeah. I'm just getting my notes from Liam. The guy.
How to Talk to Women by Liam Gray 101.
Exactly. He's such a role model.
The greatest tweet, Liam Gray. That should be good.
Okay, now that we got all the the niceties out, can I just fuck your brains out?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I got a bolt because I have I do a show on Sunday night too. So can I shill for a second, RJ, and then bolt?
Show what you want to show, man. Shill what you want to shill.
All right. Well, I mean, the shill for tonight. After you're done watching RJ, I'm gonna have Tyler Carpenter from Draw and Talk on. He's running a campaign called Chefs. I'm also gonna have Stevie Zane, artist extraordinaire. He's done work for Into the Suck. He's done work for Niobe. He's done work for Scorpiana. He's worked for Big Dog Inc. with Tom Hutchinson. So he's going to be on. And then, down the road, like I said, we're going to have Nerd Wonder. As far as the comic book goes, RJ, here's the news. We just finished it. It's done. We have printable PDFs in my possession now. They actually get submitted to the printer tomorrow. And in 2 weeks, give or take a day or two, I will have boxes of comic books in this house. And I will, unbox those live. I am going to sign what I need to sign, and they're going to be put in Gemini mailers. Folks, you'll get them in good shape. And Niobe 2 Birthright will be on your doorstep soon enough. So if you back the book, we're delivering. Hashtag fulfillment, motherfucker.
Awesome.
Promises made, promises kept.
Awesome. Before you go, can I send you like a PayPal purchase directly so I can get a digital?
Oh, I'll just send you a digital for free, George.
Oh, yeah. You son of a bitch. No, man.
Underneath the condition, you're going to review it.
Of course I'm going to review it. I'm your buddy in reviews,
That's right.
I love you. I love you
George
for
did the first review of Birthright #1. Like, he was the first guy to step up and do it. Now, a couple other people did it after, but it had to take George to get that ball rolling.
Yeah, it was an honor reviewing your first book.
That brings up
my first book. That was my sixth book.
yeah, your sixth book, but you know what I'm saying. The first book on and that series. And I like to send money and PayPal money to you to get all your PDFs. The
all right, well, we'll work that out in the DM down. Like maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and also the 3 pages. I like to discuss with you.
Dude, I forgot about that.
The minutia of the cost.
Yeah. I know the idea. I'm glad you reminded me. You're gonna have to remind me again though, and then I'm gonna.
I will do that in Twitter DM, and I'll send you a proper purchase order.
Like I always tell people,
like everybody should.
If I tell people I agree to something, just hit me up a couple days later and go, hey, remember you said you would do this? I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send you a proper purchase order, so that way everything's above board and all that stuff.
Sure.
I'm very excited. I have so far 5 artists on board. You're the 6th. It's
well, I'm not the artist. I can only write it, George. Someone else would have
I'm saying 5 universes that Joe King is going to be delivering pizza to.
Man, that better be some damn good pizza.
Oh, it's
like the cross timekeeper.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
If he crosses into a universe where pizzas are sentient entities, does he get arrested for murder?
No, it could be a double deluxe pizza.
Well, I've gone over some ideas with George of how I could sort of do this, and I was gonna put like a ton of cameos in and stuff, and like.
No, just make it fun. Make it fun to your universe. That's it. Don't overthink it. Just have fun. Really. Imagine if your characters were meeting Chuck Jones, Bugs Bunny, and Roadrunner Coyote, and all that stuff.
Beep beep.
Yeah. Just have fun, and make it as awesome as you can. 3 pages, black and white.
All right.
Yeah, remind me on that again. Gentlemen, have a good show.
Bounce out, Larry. Talk to you later. Because I had an open-ended question that would have kept him here for way too long, but I'll throw it at you, George, since you also produce comic books. You're putting out your next book, Joe King Versus, and who's versing this time?
He's saving everyone again for the first time.
There you go. With regard to reviews and advanced reviews,
yes,
I know when I get like PDFs from the larger publishers, the mainstream, throw it in the LCS, they're always like, please hold reviews until the Tuesday before the release.
Oh yeah.
And of course, this is because if it's a bad review, we want to have time to get the book sold to the store anyway.
Hey, that's standard. That's Hollywood standard.
It's Hollywood standard. But I've had crowdfunded books as well say, would you please hold the review until the book is released, even if it's a good review?
Yeah.
Because it's too spoilery or something.
That just doesn't make sense. If you do a proper review, you'll never spoil the book, and you'll just make it more exciting for new customers.
Well, if it's a positive review, then yes. I've done negative reviews of comic gate titles that were met accordingly, but it's my opinion, and I've got one of those anatomically too.
Well, that should put a little fire under their feet, so they can achieve better. Strive for better. Better. In the story construction, may possibly, a little more elbow grease in the arts. Just to give it that extra polish, shine. Whatever it would take. There's just a lot of room for improvement. That's absolutely for sure.
Well, my take is if you review a crowdfunded book after you've got the physical copy in hand, what's the point? Because they can't go out and buy the book now because the campaign is over.
Well, true, but if the creators are clever, they would actually create their online direct store, so that way they are able to continue to sell the book, to customers. If they went to press and they printed X thousands of books and all that stuff, great, that's fantastic. Now turn it around, put a direct online store on your website, and then just sell it on print on demand.
There you go.
And people will continue to order your book. You'll continue
you put a different cover on it so that it's
exactly. Or you put in the credits second printing.
Yeah, exactly. So that all your crowdfunders, they got the first printing, they got the special cover or whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of, George, have you seen this?
What are we looking at? Oh, this looks interesting.
This is The Company Men, Dead, White, and Blue, from Blackfriar Press.
Yes, I looked into it. Yes, I did.
This
actually, I don't know. I think you know what? I think I may have backed that already. I backed in the last month about I don't know.
Well, this one just launched 2 days ago, so if you backed it,
no. But I'm just trying to think. Between Indiegogo and Kickstarter, I think I've backed about 30 books so far in the last month.
You've been busy.
Well, it's I don't advertise it a lot,
Sure.
But I think Company Man was one of them.
Well, good. Because the reason I bring it up here, the man called Kimasabi is his name on Twitter, so you've seen him there probably. This is the premier title that will be distributed in the continental U.S. by Critical Blast Logistics.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They are using our service. We met with them before the launch to make sure all the buttons were buttons, the belt and suspenders and everything on all the shipping and the weights and measures. So yes, I am deeply invested in seeing this thing sell as many copies as possible.
Okay, I'm just looking at my contributions right now. Oh yeah, it's backed.
Fantastic. It's got 75 backers, and of course, we use 100 books as a base measure for coming up with an estimate for weights and measures for boxes. Turns out that 20 kilograms is the heaviest box you can ship from Australia to the U.S. I'm like, so, okay, well, multiple boxes, but it'll scale across. That's not a problem.
Absolutely.
And I've already put the word out to local comic shops, and I've talked with Kemosabe about over shipping and explained to him the whole hey, on in demand, it's already here, and local comic shops. And he was he agreed with my assessment that yes, it's great to say we're putting them directly into the hands of the readers, but the dream is always to see your own book on a shelf next to Spider-Man and Batman.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, man. RJ, that's absolutely fantastic.
I'm extremely, extremely happy with this, and I appreciate all the way in the back room discussions that you and I had about where I could take this when I was breaking it out to you as a sounding board to show you my business plan. And you're the one who kind of said, hey, if you have an inventory, you can be a mini diamond. And I'm like,
well, I've told you in private. I'll tell you again in public, so that way people appreciate your effort and what you're doing is, if for you become a healthy, productive business model, it will be great for my business. It will be great for Elasmat. It will be Road Warrior Drake. It will be great for all the other projects that are in and outside of Comicsgate, on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, because it will be a viable model that actually takes crowdfunded books and brings them directly to the retailers.
And I think that's really the end goal. Or it's not. Well, there's never an end goal because there's always something else you can do beyond that. But I think that would be a big step that will, get creators noticed.
Yeah.
I had a thought and then I lost it because I followed something else. But it was I designed this thing with the overseas, and Canada's not necessarily overseas, but outside the U.S. all those creators in mind. But
we do have a lake between us.
Yeah,
some cases.
A couple of lakes.
Yeah.
But if you're in the U.S. and you're making comics, we can do that too. It won't be cheaper for you because we throw a fee on it. But if you'd rather spend your time, creating comics than stuffing envelopes, then maybe it's worth the extra couple of bucks to you to put it on your shipping charges that, hey, we're going to go through Critical Blast Logistics.
Not necessarily. If you really want to think about it on a Critical Blast level, so to speak, if someone is producing a book in the United States and they want to go through the shipping regiment all by themselves, that is actually time and effort.
Yeah,
they spend on themselves, and if they're able to qualify or quantify that time and effort, they may end up realizing that they're actually spending too much time, too much effort when they could be using their resources elsewhere, and they have, the revenue on hand to allocate to someone actually doing that work for them.
Exactly, because they put it in the shipping to begin with, so it's not like it's eating into their profit. It's
exactly.
So they're more productive and making more money, at their page rate level, drawing 2 pages that day rather than spending a week labeling Gemini mailers.
Yep, that's exactly where I was heading. They've already associated the cost of you in their pricing. They just never realized it.
This is true. I've been thinking too small. I've been thinking globally and not locally.
That's why Blue Lives Matter.
This is true. So once again, George, you have helped me go on into a more profitable zone.
It's exciting. It's absolutely exciting.
That's what I love about this whole crowdfunding thing, is because everybody's coming up with ideas that help everybody else.
Yes. Yes, that is true. In my experience for the last 10, 15 years, watching the crowdfunding, testing the waters, doing a whole bunch of different little things here and there, testing failings, taking notes, testing again, taking notes and stuff like that. We're quite possibly at the golden age of independent publishing.
Yeah.
The third golden age. The first one was obviously the 50s, the 40s and 50s. The second one was in the 80s, and this is quite possibly the third golden age in terms of independent publishing.
I think
it's
you're right.
absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I'm I love when I've got somebody on the stream and they talk about how they'd love to have an action figure or something. I'm like, I know the connection. I can throw you in the right direction. So. I don't know how many people have, I know how many introductions I've made roughly. I don't know how many people have actually gone the distance to where they're like, here,
all of them.
All of them. So you're preparing wireframes now.
I'm right now there is it's on the creators right now to provide me proper front, back, side shots. So that way, I'm able to create the proper wireframe and all that stuff. One of them, I've created. One of them is really clever. The Aurora little model kits where you have a comic book and then one page in the comic book is blank, just a background where you actually put one of the characters is said, why don't we just the back and forth came to the point where it said, why don't we just do the cover? All you have to do is get your artist to paint your character out of the cover, so that way we have the cover as a backdrop, and I just make that character come to life in a figurine.
I love that idea.
Loved it.
He's popping out of the cover. I mentioned the other night that I knew a guy who was doing cover. He was doing something totally different, but popping out of the cover reminded me of it. He was like, he did it with original covers at first, and I guess that kind of got too hard when people wanted Golden Age stuff. But he'll take a digital scan of the cover and print like 100 to 200 copies of it, and then painstakingly with an X-Acto knife, cut pieces out of each one, and then he just layers them out.
Yes.
Big 3D effect, and it's like several layers, so it almost moves when you look at it from different angles.
I did that back in college as an art gag, and it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. The one thing that's really more interesting than anything is that while it's amazing that they're doing this stuff like this, but what I did back in college is actually a step above what they're doing. Is that I took the artwork, obviously, and I actually created, instead of doing the cutout, I recreated a lot of the artwork as separate elements.
Okay.
Then I glued it down onto a foam core, and then I cut the foam core. So you don't have multiple layers of the same cover coming off of you. You have one layer of that element on a foam core, and you place it within the frame setting. You get the same effect, but the difference is that because it's foam core, you're able to chisel behind the foam core, so that way you're hiding the depth of the art. So all you're seeing is the art, come forward, but you don't see the edge of the foam core because you chiseled it into an angle that you really have to actually rotate at extreme degree, like 45 degrees, to actually see the depth where you actually see the foam core. So you get this added illusion that is more profound than anything else, because you think this stuff is actually floating now off the page.
Now, you did this back in college. This would be before you got your
this was back in 86, 87.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is before you started working at Nelvana, which I don't think you talk about on streams that much, George. But you had a pretty good influence on a lot of the cartoon shows that people have been watching.
Yeah, I brought Card Captors, Beyblade, Metabots to the English market by packaging the original Japanese content into style guides for the English licensees. I created the standard in style guides for Franklin the Turtle, Babar, Elliot the Moose, Red Wall. There's just so many properties. I have a video on my website that actually shows you in thumbnail just how many pages of work I created for a lot of the style guides.
That's a lot of stuff. I still, the Beyblade thing that comes and goes. I think Beyblade was hot for a while, and then it kind of cooled off, and then it came resurging back a couple of years ago, real hard.
Yeah, Beyblade was a real interesting piece because what happened was the producer's assistant came to me and they said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." I'm just paraphrasing because the experience was so fast and furious at that moment. But basically, it was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. We've lost the animator." Blah blah blah. I go, "What are you talking about? We've got to do an animated logo opening and all that stuff." I go, "Well, I'm doing the style guide. Why don't you just give me the work?" She goes, "Are you serious? You can do it?" I go, "Yeah, no problem." So overnight, I went home, okay, and I had stapled paper in a ring binder, not the official, not the good stuff, where it's 10 by, the paper that has a very unique a peg system. There's a circle peg and two rectangle pegs, which secures the paper better and all that. No. I drew the rough draft to the Beyblade dragon coming in, looping around the S symbol, and then getting comfortable whipping the tail, all that stuff. The first initial drawing was on just paper in a binder. And I scanned it in. I showed it in the morning. She goes, "That's great. The producers love it. Can you whip the tail much more?" And I said, "Sure, I can." So I go home, and then I pull out Batman Returns with Catwoman.
Yeah.
And there's a part in Catwoman where she actually uses the whip for the first time against statues, right? And I'm just sitting there watching the frames. And then I'm matching those whipping frames, and I'm duplicating them on the drawings. Much better this time, right?
Yeah. There's a Batman connection into there that people don't know.
And then I showed him the second draft and said, "Yes, that's it. Can we get in color?" I go, "Absolutely." So the third day, I actually went in and scanned it, cleaned it up in vector format, Illustrator. Okay. I did it all, nice and clean and everything like that, layered and all that stuff. The animation, they approved the colors, they approved the animation. Then I sent it off to their to the department, the editing department, where they had like After Effects and all the awesome video editing suites. And I got a call from a guy named Doug. He goes, "Oh man, dude, this is awesome stuff." I go, "Why? What's wrong?" He goes, "The way you provided the files, it's perfect. I don't have to do a lot of work. I just drop it into the collage. Oh, the opening collage." I got, "Awesome."
That's the goal. I still think it would be very, very cool too if you were to like take that that Beyblade design and just somehow make top layers that match up with people's campaigns.
Well, that's interesting because we don't have to actually take the Beyblade design, because of course that would be copyright infringement, IP infringement, all that stuff.
I wouldn't say that.
But we can make our own tops. A top is not was it a patent
You
protected
trademark a top.
Yeah. You can't. The patent on the top does not exist. It's a public domain concept. So we can create something that's like a top that's bottom heavy at the tip, and there's an area, a circular area, at the top of it, so to speak, where you can actually print out on sticky paper and just put the person's stuff on it.
You have tops of crowdfunded comic characters.
Yeah, yeah. We can put
that's
some.
all
We can put.
battling tops with explosions.
Yeah, but we can up the ante. We can stick razor blades and stuff around the thing. Make it a little more interesting.
Reach in the grab it. It's hurry.
Exactly. So when the razor blades kind of spin and touch each other at high speeds, some of them may break apart and fling off and jab the nearest wall, or hit the nearest person in the arm or the head. It makes it more interesting. So that way, the people who are actually spinning the Beyblades, they have to come in prepared in full armor.
If you really want to get a good spark, you use the rusty razor blades. They're the
exactly, and make sure you have a couple of ambulance specialties there with so that way you can get the booster shots, so you don't get rusty nail syndrome.
Yes, exactly. It's Comicsgate, the tetanus edition.
Exactly.
So George, with all the printing that you've been getting to do and all the wireframe designs and stuff, you had time to actually do your book, because I know you want to launch that soon.
No, I told everybody. I told everybody a long time, for almost a year now, since I've been slowly, talking about book 2, is that I have the book storied out. I know how what the story is and how long it's going to be. Every page is going to be considered a real-time read, so it's 120 pages. I'm going to pace it out so it takes you 120 minutes to actually read it. So you're going to be reading a story that's actually taking place in real time.
It's the comic book 24.
That's right. And if when I read it out loud, and if it takes longer than a minute to read that page, I'm going to go in and shave some dialogue. But then of course there's going to be another secondary narrative, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of narrative, between the words between the panels, where forget about it. Don't even try to read that page in in 1 minute. It's just going to drive you crazy. You have to be the world's fastest speaking reader, or whatever you call it, to get through that page. Then
that's like when you watch 24 the first time, it takes 24 hours to go. You go back and you watch it the second time, and you turn on the director's commentary and the intersplicing stuff. It's going to take longer.
Exactly. And so that's number one. It's going to have at least 8 different narratives. That's the key thing. The trading card set, there's going to be a huge number of trading cards, 54, I think, or is it 52 or 54? It's multiples of 9.
Oh,
it's 54. It's 54.
I said it was 52. Then you could put like suits and numbers on the corners, and we can.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, but no, it's 54 cards, and there's going to be a puzzle in the back, but there's going to be a secondary puzzle in the back. If you rearrange the cards, if you figure out the secondary puzzle, it's going to be the holy shit moment where Darth Vader is your father, kind of thing.
Cool.
And which will change the entire narrative of what you've read in the book, and you'll be looking at it with a whole different perspective. So there's going to be so many narratives in this book. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to be coming back, reading it over and over, and catching different things. Of course, there's going to be a non-linear character narrative in the second book, just like the first book, but here's the exciting thing. I'm going to have a Christmas delivery. That's the plan.
Christmas delivery, like on Christmas Day delivery.
Oh no, before Christmas. But
okay.
It's that time, right? But what I'm going to do is I keep hearing everybody talking about it. It's like, oh, I don't have the time. The book production's behind schedule. All that stuff. I go, oh, okay. So I figure, okay, the first day I start the crowdfunding on book 2 is the first day I put pen and paper onto paper, pen and paper together. And I'm gonna keep everybody updated on the minutia of the work, and see how long does it really take to get a book done. Really, it takes a couple of years. And I find that extraordinary. Why? Well, the reason why is that not only will I be actually putting pen to paper, but I will also be doing work on the 3D figurines as well.
Yep.
So you're going to be looking at a campaign that has a comic book, figurines as well, and you're going to go on like, you're doing all this work, and you're going to be delivering all this to the customers at this particular time in the year. Wow, a lot of people are having just trouble just doing the artwork.
And a regular production diary to go with it.
Exactly.
That's very cool. Now, before we close out here, you were talking with Larry before he left here about Joe delivering a pizza in Larry's universe, the Niobe universe.
Yep.
You got some sort of crossover deal in the works here with Joe showing up in other people's books?
I've contacted a lot of creators, and the one thing I really like to do, I've already stepped into it already with the trading cards, doing Joe King versus Road Warrior Drake versus the Canadian Shield versus Grayscale versus Door Kickers. What else? Versus Mike Angerhausen. I've done so many different cards, right?
Right.
And it was a lot of fun because they gave me a blank action pose, and I created a narrative around it. Now I want to step it up and actually have Joe King delivering a pizza in their universe to their characters, and I said, do the story in 3 pages, make it fun, don't tell me what it is. I'm going to be buying the artwork from you, so I own the artwork. I own the copyright on the artwork. I do not own the copyright or the IP of your character. I just own the artwork, so I can reproduce it ad nauseum for as long as I want. I will do the coloring, I will do the lettering, and I will swap out Joe King so that way he stays on model to my character. Because this is it goes back to the creation of the style guides and being drawing your characters on model. It's very, very important. While it's great to see people draw your character in their style, in however a variety of styles, the one thing that it doesn't bug me, it's not Joe King, because this is what Joe King is. My style, my art, that is the character.
I thought for a moment that you had talked with all these people, and in their story, maybe in a background or in a panel or just somewhere off there, noticeable but unobtrusive, Joe's delivering a pizza.
Yeah.
And then your book would be like, him doing the pizza deliveries at some point, and you might have worked out a deal to get their panels and put them in there. And you could say, like the old editor's notes, that asterisk, this occurred in issue number X of this title.
RJ, I actually thought of that, but given that there is no set schedule or consistency in delivery dates on any books whatsoever, because they're crowdfunded at different times and they're delivered at different times, that wouldn't work out.
It's easier for you to control it if you can just get the art from them and put the story together yourself.
That's right. So that way, someone would look at it and say, oh, yeah, hey, Joe's in the background delivering pizza. Oh, and there's a footnote to look at this comic. And then you go looking for that comic, and that comic, is still on the drawing board.
Yeah. That would suck. I mean, you can get on the mailing list for it, but anytime I see a footnote in a comic book that says this occurred here, I expect to find that book in a back issue bin somewhere and pick it up.
Yeah, and you know what's exciting? You saw the last photograph I tweeted out and pinned to my account on Twitter, is that the book is going to be oversized.
Yes,
10 inches by 15 inches.
You put on that big 10-inch, man.
120 pages. You know, a couple of inches bigger than the Marvel DC Treasury editions.
Okay, so, and here's where, this what I think about when I see that. That's going to be so hard to ship.
Yes, I don't have the numbers yet, which is one of the things. I don't have the numbers yet on the weight and the cost of the particular packaging that's required for it. But I will be
just finding the right packaging.
Yeah, I will be finalizing that in this coming week, where I will marry up the physical copy to actual box and see if it's a good fit, all that stuff. To include the figurines as well, to have a secondary box where it would not only have the oversized book but also any figurines that they would purchase. And here's the thing. The campaign is going to be so simple, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know why people don't do it this way. And maybe I do. They all have their own flavor of interest and stuff like that. But my campaign is going to be extremely simple. It's going to have two options. No, actually, it's going to have one option. Actually, you buy book 2. Within the framework of book 2, you have add-ons.
There you go. Everything else is an add-on.
Did you buy book 1? Have you had book? Do you have book 1? Okay, you don't buy book 1. You just buy book 2, or you have an add-on. You buy in the add-ons. You buy book 1 as well as book 2. In the add-ons, you also can purchase any of the figurines that come with it, right?
Absolutely.
Any of the additional items, you just click it on the add-ons, and you're done. But here's the great thing. It will start off as a standard book. If we hit 150 sales, it will be oversized 10 by 15 softcover. If we hit 300 sales, it will be hardcover. And the price will not change.
Sounds good to me. No price change for a hardcover. Yeah, well,
but it gets even better. If we hit 300 sales, I will go backwards to the referrals. Okay, get rid of that guy.
I don't know what we just saw there. I was adjusting my glasses, but he gone.
We hit 300. We hit 300 sales, and we're going. I'm going to be. Oh no! Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Boot him out.
Boom boom.
Okay, we hit 300 sales. I will go through the referrals. And I will. Of course, I'm going to have this ahead of time. In the referrals, there will be a referrals contest. So the person with the greatest referrals is going to get the prototype of the spaceship, the oversized prototype that I have.
Ooh.
The second most referrals will have the next prototype, and the third referral will have the next prototype. So all the prototype figurines that I have that are ready for the campaign will be awarded for free to the people with the greatest referrals.
Okay, so that's something else that fits into your scheduling issue here. Is that you're going to be selling the spaceship, the 3D printed spaceship, as part of this as an add-on. That's one of the reasons why I signed up on the mailing list, because you showed me this huge freaking spaceship that you're printing out. How long does that take to print one?
Well, because I'm going to have the campaign for 30 days, and that's it. The only time I will make it available for the figurines specifically is in the 30 days. After the 30 days, the only thing that will be available is the books.
Okay.
So I will have more than enough time to print the orders to produce the orders of the figurines over the months moving forward until delivery.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
I know you
key.
have multiple
That's the
machines
key.
working.
That's the key thing, right? Is to make sure that you stop the orders for the figurines, at the 30-day mark. That's it.
Yeah.
It's done. The campaign's done for the figurines on the 30-day mark.
Well, I will be watching intently for that launch date because I want to make sure I get in on the first 30 days. I said the whole reason I signed up in the first place was like, I want that ship. That ship is cool. I don't want that sitting on my shelf. Or when I worked for the Air Force Base, George, we used to have we worked in a room with a lot of the old guys. I was a young pup right out of college, and they had these not the Aurora models, but the Revell models of all these different planes, and it wasn't enough that they put them together, and it wasn't enough that they hung them with fishing wire from the drop ceiling so that they were like in the air already.
Yeah.
But they also took, all these planes came with missiles that you would glue underneath them that were like ready to launch.
Yes, yes.
Not these guys. They had taken hard wire, a heavy gauge wire, and looped it, and then wrapped it in cotton, and then glued it up into the plane, and then glued it to the back of the missile. So the missiles were launched in air out of these plastic.
Oh, well, wow, that is awesome.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've seen a lot of modeling online where they've done stuff like that, and it looks absolutely spectacular. Under the right lighting, it looks like you just captured a moment in time. It's incredible.
So that's what I want to. That's what I want to do with this ship here. I want to. If it's not too heavy, I've got fishing wire out in the garage. I got plenty of that. Last night, my son has. You remember the Brandon Routh Superman Returns movie?
Yes.
And they came out with a Superman that stood about 3 foot tall.
Yes.
And had the cloth cape on and everything. It was
I got Darth Vader like that.
Yeah, it was a giant. We found one in the neighborhood we were living in on top of somebody's trash can while they were outside, and I'm like, I stopped right away. I was like, "Are you?" She's like, "Yeah." He doesn't want it anymore. I'm like, "Can I?" And she's like, "Yeah." Wasn't dirty or nothing. I mean, it was on top of the thing. Put it in there. Took it home, wiped it up. That is in his room. Has been since he was a baby. He's 13 now, and it's hanging, from the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. You just reminded me of something that there was a store here in Toronto. I think it was a hardware store and stuff like that, and they had a Terminator, a life-size Terminator figurine.
Oh.
Right, a part Schwarzenegger, part Terminator, and they decided to get rid of it one day. So what you saw, there was it was on the news. There was this Terminator, oversized Terminator figure sitting between houses, ready to go out to the trash, and somebody saw it. They talked about it. It became news, and somebody came and picked it up and gave it to somebody or someplace where they would honor it for its awesomeness.
It's amazing what you can find people throwing away sometimes. It's I'm not even a huge Terminator fan, but I would pick that up.
Oh my gosh, yes. If I saw that, waiting for the trash, I go, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, I'm just helping, helping you with your recycling.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna put this in, ready for the recycling bin at my house. In the corner.
Under a nice light.
Exactly.
Well, George, I think we're going to wrap things up here. We've been at it for an hour and a half. Appreciate you coming on and talking with me, man. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure as well.
And again, can't wait to see the next Joe King book 2 come out. We want to have you on the show specifically for that when there's a campaign to push and direct people to.
You know what? I might as well just launch the book on your channel.
Come do that. Come.
You want that figurine? What better way than to launch the book on your channel so that way you go, yeah, okay, I'm getting that figurine right now.
Exactly. We can launch it. We can launch it right now.
Breakfast. Lunch. I said lunch, not lunch.
Okay, that was cute.
That's my launch button. Remember that show?
Actually. Yeah, I remember that show. That was awesome.
Sid and Marty Krofft. All right. George, thanks for coming on. Folks in the chat, appreciate you being here. We don't have a show without you. And as